Greetings and welcome back to room 303 and our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our study through and our reading through the deathbed edition of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We're in the Calamus section and we turn to this amazing little poem, I Dreamed in a Dream. Of course, the dreamed here is an elided verb, as we've seen many times in Leaves of Grass. Is it possible that here we have the birth of John Lennon's classic Imagine? It's possible, right? Walt Whitman will write to celebrate the need of comrades. That's why he wrote this little line. Now, our assumption is that you've been following us at learnstrong.net. Down that left-hand side, you find the Talks with Walt playlist. And you've been with us from inscriptions all the way through Earth, My Likeness, the poem we just finished. Now, our Nortons will tell us that I dreamed a dream here. Compare this Calamus number 34 poem with the Barrett manuscript reading, whose phrasing is similar and more direct. It's numbered IX or 9 in the Roman numeral series. The poem has remained unchanged since it took its present title in 1867. Over 70 times by many counts, the word dream gets used in Leaves of Grass. Now that's an amazing thing, because it's clear that Whitman wants to be the artist of dreaming. And we'll think, of course, of his classic poem, Sleepers, that we'll be addressing later in Leaves of Grass. Let's just enjoy the poem. I dreamed in a dream. I dreamed in a dream. I saw a city invincible to the attacks of the whole of the rest of the earth. I dreamed that was the new city of friends. Nothing was greater there than the quality of robust love. It led the rest. It was seen every hour in the actions of the men of that city and in all their looks and words. Now, at 3a, you can't help but think about Whitman's love of Plato's Republic, right? The idea of building the ideal republic or the ideal city. So obviously we're playing that game. The idea of a city on a hill, obviously we've got to talk a little bit about that as well here at 3a in a bit. Let's just go through the poem now. Notice he says, I dreamed in a dream I saw a city invincible. In drum taps over the carnage rose prophetic a voice. He has this line, those who love each other shall become invincible. This idea of being somehow beyond any kind of capacity for attack, invincible. It's huge. I think we cannot help but see some of this in our study of Augustine's City of God as well, right? Invincible to the attacks of the whole of the rest of the earth. Remember, Declaration of Independence, let facts be submitted to a candid world. I think that Whitman is playing a similar kind of game. Whitman was aware that the whole world was watching this experiment called America and the ways in which it was happening, and he wanted to celebrate that experiment. He says it twice. I dreamed there was the city, the new city of friends. Over 100 times in Leaves of Grass, the word friend or friends gets used. Whitman is the great poet of friends, right? Nothing was greater there than the quality. He loves this robust word, 4 times used in Calamus, right? It led the rest. The idea that America will be this great leader among all the nations of the world. It was seen every hour in the actions of the men of that city and in all their looks and their words. Notice that for Whitman, it isn't just their words, it's their actions that will make Americans so great. Why? Because of friendship. I think when we look then at 2a and possible messages here, artists are dreamers of a better world. They ask us, as we said about John Lennon's classic, to imagine a world that could be better. And when we pick up Leaves of Grass, as I said many times before, to the optimism, the hope that's there, we'll see it for sure in a poem like this. At 2b, dream and friend are 2 of the most used words in Leaves of Grass. And I think there's some significance to that fact. At 3a, well, I mean, there's all kinds of relationships here. I mentioned Augustine's City of God, obviously. John Lennon's Imagine, or Bono's U2 song City of Blinding Lights. Think about Freud's interpretation of dreams as another way to read this. But I want to mention John Winthrop's 1630 sermon, where he talked about the famous city on a hill that became, of course, one of the important Christian symbols. And here Whitman is going to, in some ways, co-opt that to say, The great city is the city of friends. Finally, a 3B question to own a poem like this. Do you think America is still a city on a hill? Why or why not? Right? And finally, if we're going to talk about dreams, what is your most powerful dream? I hope that one of your dreams is to be able to read all of Whitman's Leaves of Grass with us. Thank you.